What's up, everybody? Welcome back to How It's Done. So, got a couple calls today to go out and winterize people's homes, getting ready for the freezing weather that's coming to the Houston area. So, I figured I'd take this opportunity to kind of explain to you guys some of the different things you can do to prep for that, and also explain a little bit about the different types of freezes you might get. If the news says that we've got a freeze warning, essentially what that means is the temperature is expected to get below 32 degrees for more than 2 hours. If we've got a hard freeze warning, however, that means the temperature is expected to get below 28 degrees for more than 2 hours. Now, this doesn't really cover the situation that we had in Houston, or rather Texas last year, where the freeze lasted for several days, getting down into single digits. Um, doesn't cover that, especially with the loss of power. So this video isn't going to go over that. If that's the case and you lose power in the house, the heat from the envelope of the house is not going to really do anything to keep your pipes from freezing. So you're going to want to basically drain the whole system to prevent freezes. Another thing to point out real quick, if you have breaks in your pipes because of freezes, a lot of people seem to think, oh, well, it's freezing outside and I don't have any issues right now, so we're good. Where you really need to be alert and do your due diligence and be at home looking at things is when stuff starts to thaw. That's when you're going to start seeing leaks. Um, Honestly, okay, I said I wasn't going to get into it, but I will. If you lose power to your house, your best bet is going to be to shut off the water supply to your house and open up all your sinks, faucets, flush your toilets, get the water out of the lines. Um, Flushing the toilets will, when you've got the sinks open, will allow you to do that. Um, and this way, if the interior of your house happens to get down to 32 degrees or less where it's freezing and it's no longer contributing to heating the pipes, all it's doing is chilling air that's inside the pipe. You're not actually going to be freezing water and risking a rupture. And if there is a few little droplets or so left in there, it's not going to expand enough to rupture any pipes. All right, so one of the first things you want to do when you're going through winterizing your house, you've got these little spigots that come out of the wall. You can buy these little covers at Home Depot or Lowe's. Obviously buy them in advance of the freeze, because if you're like now, you're going to have trouble finding them. Basically, you put this little hook on here, and of course it's not going to work with one hand, but you put this hook on here, then you'll pull this piece tight once this is flush against the wall. And what that does, hang on a second. Yeah, so it'll kind of work like that. What that does is the temperature from the house, or the cold air blowing on this, is not going to cool this off as fast. Now, this is not a heated thing, so it's not going to be generating heat to keep this from freezing. That's coming from the inside of the house, through the wall, and through the pipes inside. So obviously disconnect your hose, drain the hose as best you can, and then you put one of these on. All right, so over here they've got their backflow preventer. So what we're going to do is we're going to valve this off each way. Basically just turn it a quarter turn. Same thing down here. We'll valve that off. And then what we'll do is take this little bag. It's like an insulated pouch. Works the same way as basically wrapping it with a towel and then putting a trash bag over it, but a little bit nicer looking and a little more sturdy. Okay, so what that does, that looks like this now, and it keeps the valve from freezing. Valving it off really doesn't do anything to help it from freezing. What that does is this prevents, if it freezes and breaks, that prevents water from spraying all over everything. You can see this is right underneath the electrical meter, so you really don't want a geyser right here. So yeah, that's all you really have to do on that. The insulation was good. No spots where it was exposed. It probably will need to be replaced in a year or so, because it does have some pretty good UV damage on it. It's brittle. But now this particular client does have an outdoor kitchen, so I am going to touch base with them and see if there is a location indoors where they can valve off the outdoor kitchen. Otherwise, it is running PEX piping, so it's likely it will be okay during the freeze, but ideally you do want to play it safe, especially with this being outdoors. And just valve it off, drain it, and be done. Same thing with the drain line, the P-trap here. What I would recommend they do is, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the P-trap off, get the water out of it, and probably do something to just plug up this hole here and prevent the sewer gas from coming back through. So, yeah, go ahead and take care of that. So the only other thing that they have, which I'm going to have to come back for, is it looks like they have a water softener system here. And I did not bring any towels with to wrap this up and put a plastic bag over it. So I will have to come back and do that. But that's what you would need to do for something that's kind of oddly shaped like this, is just wrap it with some towels, put a plastic bag over it, and that prevents moisture from getting to the towel and then freezing, and then the towel will provide the insulation from the freeze. All right, so here what we've got, the pipes are not insulated going up to the backflow preventer, so we're just going to be using some foam insulation with a 1-inch inner diameter, and it's got a 1/2-inch wall, and we're just going to cut it to size and put it around the pipe. For the corner here, we're going to basically measure to the top, and then we're going to cut it at a 45-degree angle across, and then that'll also get us up to here. And for the metal part, what we'll want to do is wrap it with a towel or something like that, and then cover it with a plastic bag. The reason you put a plastic bag on it, the towel will work fine by itself unless the cold front comes with rain, and then the towel will get soaking wet and then freeze, and you've just made the problem worse. So we'll go ahead and get these cut to size, get them wrapped on there, and move on. All right, so once you've got the insulation cut the right size, you can pull this little plastic protector off the adhesive, and then you just get the rest of it off, and then you can just pinch the pipe together. The insulation, rather. It's easier to do with 2 hands than 1, but you end up getting something that looks just like this, where it's nice and securely held together, like it did on the other side. So, and then you're insulated, and all you'll do, like I said, is wrap this with a towel, and then put a trash bag over it, or if you've got one of those special bags to put over it, you can do that. So they've also got a pool, which means obviously this is going to need to be insulated as well. Yeah, so we're going to insulate this 1-inch pipe, and this top piece is going to have to be, again, wrapped with a towel and then have a trash bag put over it, because quite frankly, there's no way you can put one of those box covers on the valve to seal that off with the wall. So go ahead and get some insulation put on this, and we're going to tell them to keep the pool running overnight when the freeze is happening and throughout when freezing temperatures are occurring, because that will keep all the pipes and everything and the motor on the pump from seizing up and being destroyed.